Welcome to the Two Grumpy Men, C. Grooms and Bobby May in the building.
What it do? What it do? Welcome to this
Yeah.
Wednesday night. The check-in. We gonna check in tonight.
Yeah, we checking in, and hopefully you do too. And we waiting. You know, we gonna talk our talk and walk our walk, but we waiting. You know, as always. You know, I guess I'll put the phone number on there. 727-731-0953. Pin number is I'll get that later. Oh man. So what's good, brother?
Well, ain't nothing, man. What we got, man. What we dealing with is a whole lot going on out here, huh? So
yeah,
much, man.
it's a lot, man.
It's all gonna lead back to the same shit, though. So let's.
I know, right? At the end of the day, right?
Let's run with it. Yeah, let's pick it. Let's talk it.
All right. So okay. All right. Let's start here then. Did you see the actual video of the shooting in Wisconsin?
To say I watched the whole thing would be a lie. I didn't watch the whole thing. At this point, I'm just like tired of watching execution of black men on TV, on social media. So I didn't really watch the whole thing. I did see the part. What I did see, I guess it was the end part where he was walking around the car to his car, opened the door, and then the cop was holding his shirt or pulling on his shirt or something.
Right.
He opened the door. It looks like that's when, you heard the shots, but I stopped it at that point once you heard the shots firing.
Okay, because I saw that. Well, we all saw that first. When they showed the shooting, they showed the man walking around his car to go and open the door. Like, we all saw that part. Now, 2 days ago, I saw footage from the other side of the vehicle. You know, there's always the other side that you don't see. So, on the other side, they showed him scuffling. Well, they showed him getting up from the scuffle with 3 officers. Okay, now, from what I read and what I saw, I had to put 2 and 2 together and saw that he was tased. But, he got up from the tasing. Like, he was scuffling with them. He got up from the tasing. So he was walking around to the driver's side to his car. And then, that's when, everybody saw the officer grab him on the shirt and, shoot him in the back. Now, looking at the whole picture, that's still, to me, like, you could never justify shooting somebody in the back. Like, I don't give a damn what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, you can't shoot somebody that is you can't shoot him in the back. We saw that with the, what was the driver's name? There's so many of them in South Carolina. He was running away. He had a broken tail light. Yeah, like, it's the same thing. Like, he was running away, because of fear. He had, I guess he had some, I forgot, maybe a warrant or for unpaid tickets or something. But, in any event, he was afraid. He ran, and the cop shot him in the back. Like, it's 4 of y'all or 3 of y'all. If y'all scuffling with him and you tase him and he don't stay down, the next step is not, let me put out. First of all, the firearms is already out. So that's mistake number 1. Now, I was in a debate with somebody before. They said that, well, he might have had a knife. Okay, well, from the angle that I saw on the other side of the car with the scuffle, I didn't see a knife. So, but in any event, if he had a knife if he had a knife and you tased him, then when he got up and he walked, the knife wasn't in his hand by the time he got walking around the car. So that threat is gone. He's walking around his car. He's not confronting y'all again. So that threat is gone. So now, only thing that could be left, we come to find out later, we don't know what the hell he was really going to his car for. Number 1, I could tell you this, he had children in the car. So, my main concern would have been getting to the car to check on my kids, which most parents would have. So he's walking. No, now these assholes don't even know he got kids in the car. They fired shots into the man's back. Now, what if you hit one of the kids? Bullets don't have no name. They ricochet. They pounce. They ricochet. They go all over the place. That's just how it is. So you could have shot one of the kids. You don't even know they in there. Now, the mentality of many is to say, oh, he might have had a weapon in the car. He was going to get it. Who gives a fuck? Before he gets to the car, there are procedures that you can do. If you tackled them first of all, if you took him down on the other side of the vehicle, then there's three of y'all. Why not just tackle the dude and subdue him? I mean, do it like that. You using deadly force in a situation that doesn't require it.
Okay, I guess the whole thing is...
It stinks.
Well, why did he, what I'm saying, what led to that? And what led even to that? Like,
okay.
That part of the story is still not really clear. Like, it's like, what led up to this? Because I've heard that he was there breaking up a fight.
Yes, that's the story, that he was there breaking up a fight between two women, right? Mm-hmm. That's one thing I heard. Then I heard another one where he was breaking up a fight between two women, but there was another call about a domestic disturbance, okay, i.e. the fight he was probably breaking up, and then somebody, he wasn't supposed to be there, and he directed his child, the 8-year-old, into the car. This is before the officers got there. So I don't, it's a lot missing. So what? Does he was his child there? He broke up the fight between two women. He directs his child in the car, and then somebody says on the phone, they call in a 911 call, which we need to hear. You call in, oh, he's not supposed to be here. Then you run the person's name. You did all that on the fly. For me, when you rolled up and you heard about a domestic disturbance, you saw this black man walking away from the scene, and you confronted him because you thought he was part of the domestic disturbance, not knowing that, according to what is out there in the story, he was the one breaking up the domestic disturbance. So how do you confront somebody off the rip with your gun out? And so if he had a knife, okay, he didn't have a knife when y'all shot him, that's for sure. When he was walking, y'all tased him. If anybody know what that is, that's the electronic, basically it's supposed to subdue you.
Do we know that for a fact they tased him?
But do you know that? Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they said they tased him. So who knows? He scuffled with 3 of them or scuffled with 1 of them. What were the others doing? If he's scuffling with you, if y'all really trying to subdue this man, he wrestled
so he
3 of y'all away.
From all 3 of y'all.
For all 3 of y'all.
Y'all let him walk around the car, to open the door.
Mm-hmm. So he walked 30 feet in a circle around the car, and nobody did anything. He didn't even look back. So you didn't just rush him.
Exactly.
You tackle him or something.
Back.
He didn't even look back. So was he dazed from the taser? That we didn't see him get tased, but y'all said he got tased. Okay, a tase can leave you in delirium. Okay, that's true. Okay, but you walk into the vehicle, he didn't turn back. So if you're in a delirium, there's some things that you just won't forget, though. He know them kids was in the car. You shot the man and his kids is in the car. You're dead wrong. You shot him in the back. That's also dead wrong. They broke all types of protocol by doing that. So, yes, you wanted this call and that call. Who cares? He broke up a fight, right? Then the first thing that people do, oh, well, they said they had a warrant, for him. How do they know it was him? Well, somebody gave his name. I got such and such here. He breaking up a fight. And then they ran his name, and then they said, oh, he got a warrant. So, and they brought up his criminal background. Like, what the hell does that have to do with why y'all shot him? Y'all didn't shoot him because of his criminal background. Y'all didn't come there to arrest him. Y'all came there because of a call for a domestic disturbance of which he allegedly was not a part of. He was breaking up the fight. It just don't make sense. And you shot him 7 times at close range, and he survived. Now he paralyzed, from according to the family. Right now, he's paralyzed from the waist down because you shot the man in the back. We're talking about close range, like 2 feet away. Yo, man,
I mean, he was
you
right.
execute
He
him.
had the gat right in his back.
Literally, like you talking about inches away.
Yeah, I mean that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
Like it's like hard to watch those them videos, and it's like just really, it's like you've been seeing them for years and years now. And it's like, that shit is a lot. Like, especially for these young cats out here, and like who've never witnessed or been involved in these type of incidents or seeing these things live, or it's hurting them mentally. It's bringing them mentally trauma, giving them trauma, scarring them. Like it's causing people to have depression, scared, anxiety, every type of thing. Everything people are starting to, it's just starting to come down with. Like they're just coming down with everything, and it's like because it's a lot of stuff going on mentally, and your mental has to be like really strong to decipher and take this daily bashing, this daily beating that's going to your brain and your mind from the constant social media, news, whatever you're reading on the blogs, shit on the internet, whatever. It's just all bunch of distorted, and like you got to piece out this information to get the correct information. So I mean, and when you can't decipher like that, that shit weighs heavy on your brain. It's gonna cause a lot of trauma. So I mean, that's why a lot of times you got to get that shit a break. You just got. I see the clips and I see it, and just try not to really, let that shit sink in. But I'm a mentally tough person. I mean,
right.
So it's like, so what I'm saying, certain things, certain people are just you built for. You was trained to build. You was trained that way, coming up. When we came up, what I'm saying? Like, it's not new to us. We knew this went on. We seen it in the streets in New York all the time. Like, this ain't new. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, all the stuff that we grew up with now they making documentaries of and showing people, and now they're like, oh shit, like Central Park 5, Yusef Hawkins, all these documentaries and shit. These shit is coming out about dudes who died and shit like that. That's all the shit we had. We was living through that time too. And now you get to this time and you seeing it again. You seeing that again, but you just seeing it more because of social media. And you seeing it everywhere. You seen it everywhere though. It's not just in New York. You seen it in every hood or not hood, or you could be. I mean, you seen dudes getting killed in their car sleeping. You seen dudes getting killed in their backyard sitting down. You seeing it all. Like it's no like the first line of what they do is pull a gun on you. You know what I'm saying? That's no matter because all they
armed or unarmed.
I know because they're gonna be. Oh, I thought he had a gun. I fear for my life. But when you look at that video, this dude, you let him. I'm not saying you let him, but however he got up, and he was 3 of y'all around him, and none of y'all try to grab him or physically, stop him from going to the car, whatever if you tased him. I don't know if he was tased. I don't know. I'm just saying, because you get tased, that shit does send voltage through you, and you can become disorientated. But the strength of a father, he probably heard his kids in the car crying and shit.
Yeah, because of the fight.
And
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and got to the car. But I mean, yeah. It was definitely.
They have no respect for people. The devils that are wearing these badges. No, y'all all not devils, okay? But the ones that are devils that have these badges and the firearms, they have no respect for human life, because you can't shoot a person in the back that is not a threat. You can't say you feared for your life and a person is walking away from you. He's no threat walking away. He didn't turn around. You could have easily ran and tackled the man. Like, that's a fact. Before you even, got to the car. The same dude, way before he got to the car door. You could have tackled him when he first got up. So they look like the Three Stooges standing there like, okay, he got up and he's walking. Yeah, it's happening in real time and it's happening fast. Before you shoot somebody, There's a next step.
But there's like that's what I'm saying. Like, if you in a scuffle with an offender, and it's three of you, and he gets up he gets up, you don't, police they just not gonna stop. They gonna try to tackle you, kick you, push you down, do something. That's to get you on the ground. They got their stick. They could have hit you in the back of your leg to knock you, bring you down to your knee. You get hit with that stick when they pull out, whoosh, bang, right to the knee or right down. You're gonna go right down.
Run up on you behind you and just hit you with it. Yeah,
and hit you with that shit. So it's like you had options. You had other options instead of following him. Three of you following behind him, then letting him get to the car door, so you can say, we didn't know what he had in the car. We didn't know, because that's what you're saying. Like, we didn't know. That's what they're going to say. Oh, we didn't know what he had in the car, what he was going for. We thought he was going to go get gunned. My life was in. Your life. You should have thought your life was in danger when he first got up there. If he was going to walk to the car. So, like, if he got up, there's three of y'all. Once again, so why y'all didn't take him back down?
Take them down.
All three of y'all had. If there's three of y'all, there's three different tasers.
What's fucked up?
There's three different tasers. So did all three of y'all tase them at the same time already?
I doubt they would have been dead.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So you can reload on the taser. So there's three of y'all. All three of y'all. One of y'all hit him with the taser the first time. Y'all tackled with him. However he got back up, they'd have hit him again. They'd have hit him again, would have stopped him and pushed him down. So it's like you let him walk to the car so you can shoot him.
Exactly.
So you can say that you feared for your life, but you should have feared when he got back up. You had the gun. You could have had. Why you ain't pull your gun when he got up? I mean, it's strange. It's definitely strange to watch. Because you're looking at it like, okay, why y'all didn't grab him again, or why y'all just following him to his car? Like y'all, I'm saying if there was kids in the car,
crazy.
They knew there was kids in the car because the kids are screaming if they in the car. They screaming, crying, something. They see their dad or something. I don't know how old the kids were, but I'm assuming.
I only knew about the 8-year-old one. He
sure
8 is old enough to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to see something but screaming and making noise. So you can't tell me that you didn't know kids was in the car. You fired those shots. When you fired the shots when he opened the door, you fired the shots. I mean, and that was enough.
What's even more troublesome?
This is crazy.
I've seen multiple videos and instances of like armed people, armed with a firearm, or I'm talking about white people, armed with a firearm or with a knife, and they talk them down. They don't just shoot white people. Like, they don't do that. But with us, you could be walking, you don't have any, like a guy got killed in his apartment, and and she's appealing the killing because she felt like the charge was trumped up, for lack of a better word. Like, you went into the wrong apartment or not, and you shot the man in his apartment. You're saying he was a burglar in his own apartment. Are you out of your mind? Like, people were actually tried to buy that. And then the family, this is what I say to people, we got to stop. We got to stop leaning on our feelings, emotions, and religious convictions, because if you're going to say, oh, well, I'm going to forgive him and hug him, you're going to hug her in a trial, that is the basis for her being basically forgiven for what she did. And then you're going to get mad when you see that she's appealing. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with people? I mean, how many times are you going to march, pray, forgive, repeat cycle? It's like post-traumatic slave disorder for real. Like, you have a real bad mentality to keep doing the same thing over and over like that. They're killing you willingly, okay, and getting off. I fear for my life. Okay, You running away. I fear for my life. A kid is playing in the park with a toy gun. I fear for my life. Okay. A dude is standing outside where he's known to, according to you in your account, he's a Lucy peddler. So that's a reason to run up on a dude and choke him out because you think he's selling Lucy's from Virginia? Because that's where they mostly come from. The packs, they get the packs from Virginia. So it's like, yo, what are y'all really doing out here? And then we watching it. People are just watching it. And yes, we are, what I want to say, we're numb. Well, all right, the people who can't handle that are actually traumatized, right? Us, it's a repeat cycle because we were the ones in that age bracket back then. You know, when we was 18, 19, 24, like those are the ages that law enforcement target. And, you know, we've been there. We've been there with the racial profiling. You know, we've been pulled over on the highway, had the vehicle tossed. You know, we looking for stuff. We looking for drugs. You know, throw all that shit out on the highway, and you know, you don't even help clean it up. Like you ain't find shit, but you bounce. It's like we've been there, and yes, all of the documentaries that are coming out now. You know, Yusef Hawkins and the Central Park Five. Like, yo, we lived that. You know what I mean? Like I got rolled up on that day. That day, the same day that they was taking 5 innocent people that did not belong in jail. I got stopped, asked where I was going and this and that. Did I answer that? No. How old are you? Gave my age. Okay. You know, where you going? I live over here. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like this is like the stupid shit that you got to deal with that most didn't know that was going on. But now in the cell phone era, you know, it's out and about. And it's been going on for a long time. It's been going on the whole time. Like, this is not new. So when is it supposed to stop? Like, yo, it's almost like they're hiring people that they know. I'm talking about these different departments. Like, I understand, like, can a racist get a job in a certain area? You're damn right. If it's mostly white in that area, you know, they hire a white cop. Like, you know, as long as you think like they think, whatever the they is, as long as you think like that, then they don't give a shit. Most people don't even encounter black people in certain areas of the country, and that's a fact. But you spoke on this about 3-4 months ago, and prior to that, even, you know, when you're talking about officers that get trained that never dealt with the urban population, and they get placed here. And they are shook because they don't know anything about the culture. You know, a loud sound out of a window, meaning, you know, music or whatever, might make them shook. You know, depending on the base level, like, oh, what's going on over here? You know, loud music. Let's see what's going on. Yo, this is urban America. You might hear reggae, calypso, hip-hop, R&B, whatever. You might just hear stuff out the window. You know, it ain't shook. I mean, just people standing outside. It's 90 degrees. If people want to be outside, they outside. They're in the park. Like, you just going to roll over the people. Forget community police relations. You're just going to roll up and start ID checking. That's a constitutional violation. If you haven't done anything, you have no right to ask me who I am. You don't. But, you know, people don't know that. That's why I keep saying, like, study the law. You got to get a law dictionary, a couple. Know your rights. You got to read the Constitution. Yeah, it don't apply to everybody. We've already established that. You know, most black people are 3/5 of a man, you know, mentally, because they don't know. You know, you've heard the horror stories. Oh, I went into interrogation and they didn't let me get a phone call. You have the right to remain silent until you get your phone call. That's a fact. Yeah. Like, people have gotten off this on that technicality. They have to, if I'm under arrest, you got to Mirandize me. If I'm not under arrest, you have to tell me, why am I being detained? Before you even get to a precinct, am I being detained? Why? No? Okay, have a good day. You know, like, there's a conversation that needs to take place. So that's why we have to, yeah, I guess it's on us. It's on our generation. Yes, we lived it. We went through it. You know, we came out okay. You know what I'm saying? We're angry at times, you know, chip on our shoulder, but rightfully so. Like, we're being attacked. So it's not a little thing, man. And we're not numb, but this is our second time seeing this. we're seeing it as adults now, like full-fledged. We have children. Some of us have grandchildren our age. And we're seeing it. We lived it, and now we got to watch it again? Nah, bro. It's too much. And it's unfortunate for the brothers that we do know that do have the badge and the gun. That I know plenty of them. They, everybody's not a dickhead. But your brethren in blue that are, if you ain't checking them, then you just as bad as them. And I thought about it, I know me personally, my mentality, I would have had a lot of fights, inside the precinct. We both got badge and guns, so we not getting locked up. So we just going to square off, and I'm going to fuck you up. I guess I'll deal with my captain or whatever, because that's how that shit was going down. We ain't getting locked up. Like, we both got, that's the reality. So, I guess that just wasn't going to be a good fit. So it did, it didn't work out that way. I know a few brothers that, you pass and get to a certain point and they like, all right, well, if you letting these psychotic motherfuckers pass a psychological test, I knew I wasn't going to fail that part. So I didn't fail a psychological. Because these crazy motherfuckers who don't follow protocol at all, the ones that's not, there were so many steps before you use deadly force, man. It's crazy. But it's either they train that way, like, you go through a regular training, and then you go through the reality, like, yo, when you out here, like, it's us against them, these dudes is monsters, and this and that, you don't know what they have, they might have a gun in their afro. Like, you hear dumb shit, man. Heard it all, man, seen it all, read it all, still reading. That was the advantage I think we gained with a criminal justice background, because you hear so many horror stories. So I think it's probably, I know that it's on us to pass that down and let the generation below us get the knowledge. And, if we all playing in this game, chess game. We spending fake money. Everybody's spending fiat. If we going to go to school, we want these careers. People are shying away from entrepreneurial because they don't really know if that's going to work for them in this capitalist system. It's a lot of, self-esteem. It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. So most people go the other route, which is to work for somebody. And when you work for somebody else, and if they happen to be racist, and if you just all about the dough, then you're going to get treated accordingly. You better stand up and have some respect for yourself. And the only way you can have respect, you need to have knowledge of self. You need to have knowledge of the law. You need to have knowledge of history. If you don't have any of that, you're going to be subjected to extra bullshit. We all go through bullshit. But when they confront you, if you don't handle yourself accordingly, they're going to press you with their own bullshit. You can back down in a so-called quote-unquote authority, all right, because I have authority too. You know what I mean? As a human being, like, all right, what is your issue, sir? Okay? Oh, well, no, that's not the case, blah, blah, blah. All right, am I being detained? Am I free to go? I don't have to ask you if I'm free to go. I'm asking you, am I being detained? No. Okay, y'all have a nice day. Y'all be safe, all right? That's it. Like, there's nothing to get, I don't have to get boisterous and loud, like, yo, why are you stopping me, this and that. You trigger them. Oh, hey, this is one of them. Okay, well, we're gonna do this tactic. We're gonna do that tactic. Because remember, they still got quotas out there. Need a certain amount of arrests and tickets, and we ain't getting into all of that. But, but that's the truth. So when I saw what I saw, it was disturbing, because I think what really disturbed me was he got shot in the back. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know, we came up under that code. It's kind of like, even when we was in the hood, you want to have a fight with somebody, you don't snuff them when they got their back turned. That's a violation. You can get jumped for snuffing somebody in the back. That's just with your fists. Like, you're supposed to square up and, do the man-to-man thing, right? You ain't supposed to hit nobody while they got their back turned. It's like you ain't supposed to shoot nobody in the back. Even gangsters don't do that. I'm talking about real, even the stuff that is depicted in the movies. They ain't trying to shoot nobody in the back. These dudes is reckless. But look where it was. Good old Wisconsin. 2% black population, and this happened to be one of them, and he got shot. 2% in the whole state. But he survived. So that's scary. So imagine the racist motherfuckers out here. Yo, he got shot close range 7 times. He still survived. Yo, those niggas are God. Oh, the devils are scared, y'all. Be careful out there, man. Shit is wicked.
Shit is wicked out in these streets.
Word.
Shit is wicked out
you
here,
know,
bro. Shit is
I
wicked
just,
out
you know,
here, man.
mind my business, come and go, and just try to do the right thing, man. But I ain't harassing nobody. I dare sure don't want nobody harassing me. And I sure as hell don't give a shit about a badge and a gun. And he had kids in the car. Let's not forget about the kids in the car. So these dudes just reckless. They don't give a fuck about that. But
they don't give a fuck about that. That's just that's they probably get a strike for that. You put more trauma on young black kids.
Oh, okay. You talking the back room training? Yeah. Do it this way.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Stick to the script.
Like
I fear for my life. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you shot that nigger. Yeah, I know how they think.
And, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, this shit is like, you know, cats is doing, you know, the cats is out there again marching, doing that shit. And
they're marching. Yeah.
You heard his mother the other yesterday saying that she, you know, she would like to pray with the police that shot her son and pray for something to that effect.
Yeah, see, there we go. There we go with the pray. I want to pray for the people that shot my son. What is that supposed to do? I mean, no, seriously, because this is part of the script now at this point. Because everybody wants to quell the violence. You can't, and they always use the parent of the victim or the parent of the person that got shot.
It's always the same. Because these people, all they do is go get the same lawyers. They get the same person all the time to represent them.
Is this dude Crump representing this family too? Man, okay.
He was right there next to her. While she was talking to a mic. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same shit. It's the same shit. So
if you quell the violence, I'll make sure that you get a certain amount of millions. Is that the deal? I mean, because that's what it's looking like. You know,
that's what it's going to look like. But what I'm saying is, you know, this is what they do. These people, you got to look at everybody differently during this time. You got to look at everybody. You got to look at these cats differently. You know, this dude, his record is that he doesn't win cases. He settles basically for the money. You know, he gets that money.
Of which he gets 33%.
Exactly. So I mean, it's you know, he's just
off the top. By the way,
he gets
33% off the top.
He making his opportunities off the grief of families.
Mm-hmm. The new Sharpton.
What are you doing? Yeah, what do you do with that bread? Are you giving it back to the communities? Are you helping the community? No, you running up lawyer bills. You know.
Yeah,
extensive lawyer bills, and then when you get that cut, because there's going to be a cut, and you're going to get yours.
The check gets cut when you say I'm going to pray. I'm praying for I'm going to pray with the cops that shot my son.
And
do you know how delusional a person would have to be to say that?
Same shit. But it's the same shit when the lady cop shot dude in his own apartment. They hugging her. They said the same. They forgive her.
In the courtroom.
They want to pray with her, and they want to pray for her. Is it all right if I hug her? Like, you know,
the judge hugged her
his
too.
Mother yesterday. The mother was out there yesterday. You know, saying that this is not what Jacob would want.
I want Jacob when he is up and around. Jacob can speak for himself. You know, I mean, because I don't know. Listen, all right, I wish nothing on anybody. You know that I know or myself as well. Trust and believe. I am not going to be in front of a mic saying no stupid shit like that. I'm not. I can't control what other people do. They're outraged because of what is going on. So if a person is unjustly shot, injured, killed, whatever, you cannot get up there and try to tell somebody else what they need to do or express their grievances. Like, there are people that are actually angry at the repetitive nature of these actions. So I'm not gonna get up there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go pray with the people that shot my cousin or my brother, or or whatever." I'm not gonna do that. Yo, what's wrong? If you see that, it ain't me. I've been cloned. Okay, because that ain't me. I can tell you that right now. I'm locked away in some facility and they done remade me, because that ain't me. I can tell you that right now. So this shit is crazy. I can't. I couldn't understand that. I read the article. I read it.
That's what happens. That's what happens, though. This is what people say. You know what I'm saying? This is what when they. I'm not knocking religion or anything like that, but that's a whole nother show.
Oh, I'm not knocking it either. It's deep.
We might have to make that a series too. The
religion series. I don't know if I can handle that emotionally. I'll tackle it. It's a lot though, because I have noticed this though.
I think black people is too bought into that shit. Like that's just me.
Okay, and when was it introduced?
I'm like, yeah. I was like, that's just the iceberg of what I'm gonna say. I'm just, but the book they did give you, they gave you they gave you a Bible.
Well, the people that were enslaved, right? Let's put it like that. The people, because everybody was.
And they would read, read to you the part about being submissive and all this other shit. So, when I hear people say these things, I just look at it and I just, I'm like, you have a right to be angry. You have a right to be angry. And you have a right to express that anger. You getting up there trying to say the politically correct things doesn't stop people from doing what they want to do regardless. People are going to riot regardless because they mad. People are going to go protest and march because they already mad. They've been protesting and march. They've been doing that since Floyd. They've been it just hasn't been shown on the news, but when you show this now, reading back, now it's going to starts back all up again. But they've been in the streets in Portland. They've been in the streets in Seattle. They've been in the streets in Chicago. They've been in the streets. Like, they still going on. It's been going on since Floyd. So it's not like people are not stopping. People are not that. What you're saying is, when you say that in the microphone to your people who's out there and they doing it because they're further tired, that don't make them listen to you. They're not gonna listen to you. They're gonna be mad. They're gonna show more rage. That's how I look at it. Oh, they're gonna look at you different. They're like, we ain't doing it for you. We doing it for us. We doing it because we mad. Because we know that shit ain't right. We ain't, you know what I'm saying? We ain't listening to what you saying. We know this shit was wrong. We seen it. They watched it. We know this shit ain't right. That's the thing. Like, people was like, what was it, about 2 weeks ago? People was all up in raw about the Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's song WAP. How this man,
right.
This is like, no, motherfucker, that shit is entertainment. That shit is nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
Ain't nothing wrong with it either.
It's nothing wrong. It's nothing compared to this shit. It's real shit. That's not real shit. That's entertainment. That's just fucking entertainment.
Rap and sexuality. So what?
Exactly. That shit is just entertainment.
That's been a part of hip hop.
It's either you like it or you don't. You don't have to listen to that shit. You can turn it off. You can turn the dial. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You don't have to stream it. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to hear that shit if you don't want to. Because you don't have to listen to that shit. That's the choices you have with that shit. Black people and black men and black women, they don't have no choices when police is rolling up on them. Their choices either they don't listen or they get killed. But that's real shit. That's just music and entertainment. People is going on this long spew of how this is denigrating to women and this and that and these and destroying these two entertainers' characters. This is what they've been singing. They've been singing that shit.
Word.
They've been saying the shit they've been saying. They've been singing that shit. The break, there's some hoes in this house. That shit is a club song shit. A lot of you motherfuckers who's talking that shit now was dancing to that shit back in the late 80s and 90s, whenever that shit came out. If you was doing house music, come on, man.
No
Like,
doubt, no doubt.
like, motherfuckers is not keeping it real. Like, that's what I'm
You're
talking
right.
about. You getting upset over that shit, but this is the shit where we need to be upset. That's for WAP and all that. That's when you're supposed to say, "I'm gonna pray for you, Cardi B and Meg, so y'all don't make some." I can hear that. But when your motherfucker, when motherfuckers shoot your kid or kill your kid, and that's not the time. That's not the time. That's not the time for that shit. I ain't talking to nobody. I don't want to talk.
You can't heal a devil.
You know what I'm saying?
God will tell you that.
But
You read the book. You can't heal the devil. Like, you are what your heart says you are. So if you're a good person by nature, then that good is always gonna come out on some level. You talking about somebody that willingly. I'm talking about the ones who are willingly killing people and don't give a fuck. I'm talking about the people that are willingly locking people up, knowing they didn't do shit and don't give a fuck. Yeah, I saw an article that you posted. I know, but I saw this article and it hit me in my face. Boom, like a black teenager was in prison for 2 years after a botched drug bust. His arresting officer has been sued 35 times. Now, his undercover name, Undercover 84, sat on the bench. He walked out, and then the 18-year-old Jawan Frazier walked out of the building with a group of friends. What happened next would land Frazier in prison for the next 2 years, based on the testimony of the undercover officer and his NYPD colleagues. Unbeknownst to Frazier and his attorneys, those officers have been sued dozens of times in civil court for false arrests and other unconstitutional violations against New Yorkers. Now, you do a sting because the whole operation is just to get somebody to, sell you some drugs. You're undercover. You're gonna buy. They're gonna sell it to you. You're gonna lock people up. Everybody that's with you it don't matter. Like, they're gonna say, like, oh, okay, that's a drug gang. Maybe I was just going to a game, a basketball game, and all right, this dude is dirty. He got drugs on him. He sells you drugs. Everybody going to jail. Okay, who drugs are they? Whatever. But you're talking about false arrests. A dude sat in jail. A young boy sat in jail for 2 years. And these dudes have been sued 35 times for constitutional violations, false arrests, and this is what we're supposed to not be reforming. See, it's stupid to say defund the police. It's not. You don't defund them. Okay, what you do is you have to reform, but it has to be from within. It has to be real training. You have to have sensitivity training, racial training. But when you start looking at all of these aspects, and you see what the hell is going on with the profiling and the way that they police one group against another, the shit is on purpose. It's all stats. You locking up drug users, not drug dealers. You locking up people. All right, you coming out the spot with X amount of bags or whatever you got, whether it's weed, coke, heroin, crack, meth, whatever you buying. You come out with a certain amount. They're going to charge you with intent to sell. I mean, that's what they're doing. So you locking up drug users, and they getting years, whether it's 5 to 10 or whatever. And they never catch the person that supplied. You know why? Because if you follow the money, you don't really want to follow the money because you don't want to know where the drugs really came from. I ain't talking about no high level. I ain't talking about the kingpin. I'm talking about the person who supplied the kingpin, the person who supplies the person who supplies the kingpin. They don't want to go there. They never want to go there because once you start doing that, you start getting into other realms of the underworld that's grimy in our society. They don't never want to talk about the pedophile rings and all of the money that's going in with selling kids, using kids, eating kids, for rituals. Like, there's so much sick shit out here that's going on. When you follow the money, that's what you're going to get. That's why with that Jeffrey Epstein case, they got that woman, his assistant, she got shit on tape. They can't have her out on the street. She's a marked woman because she got politicians on there, politicians that you voted for, all right? Diplomats and kings from other countries. They all was on that island. Shit, a lot of people Some of y'all is fans of them now. They was on the flight log list. I don't need to go into who was on there. Shit, that story's not new. You can go look it up your damn self. It's out there. You know, shit. I know Clinton was on the damn plane a couple of times. I mean, he ain't the only one. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you have all of this going on. You got people getting locked up. You got private prisons that basically boomed from the 90s on, that came with the implementation of the 1994 crime bill that Joe Biden wrote, Bernie Sanders endorsed, you know, and Bill Clinton signed into law. And then when all of that started, you know, and that's just one layer. We ain't talking about the fucked up schooling, the poverty, the unemployment. You know, we ain't talking about all of that. Just that angle right there. We're going to target drug-infested areas. You infest the area with drugs, then you target it, and then you locking up people that's using. I've seen way too many different documentaries, and I ain't talking about YouTube. I'm talking about real not that there aren't real documentaries on YouTube, because there are, but I've seen other documentaries where former agents were saying, no, we targeted the black and brown community. Because that's what the drugs were. That broken windows policing bullshit. Well, if we stop this, then we'll prevent that from happening. That's, you know, you're gonna give out a bunch of quality of life tickets because I'm drinking a beer and I got it in a paper bag in my neighborhood. You're gonna roll up on me to give me a ticket for that. That's supposed to stop me, or that's supposed to deter some other type of crime. The dumbest logic that went against anything that I've read in a textbook, anything that I've heard from a professor. Because, you know the deal. We had officers as professors. We had correction officer, captains, assistant wardens, like, you know, retired chiefs. Like, that's who was teaching the damn classes.
Lawyers,
you know, so
defense
lawyers, I'm just district attorneys, you know, ADAs. So I'm blessed, you know, to have been in that situation. You know, we didn't think about it. Yeah, it sounds like a name, you know, John J. College of Criminal Justice. Okay. But when you actually got up in there and you saw the classes that was offered, I was like, oh, shit, okay. Yeah, I'll take this class. And you up in there, you know, you see people, they look like civilians, like, oh, shit, he got a firearm on. Oh, this motherfucker's a cop. Oh, okay. Oh, this is a lawyer. My professor is a judge or running to be a judge. Because, you know, that's when I found out, because I wanted to know, how do you become a judge? And you don't just become one. There's a career track for that. Most judges have been lawyers. You know what I mean? On either side of the equation. And then to keep your judgeship, you know, at that level, you know, you actually have to be elected into office. And I didn't know that until I started taking those classes, you know, back, you know, in the early 90s. The things that you learn. Now, but imagine if we wasn't there. You know how much shit we would have been ignorant to with the law? Like, who picks up a constitution anyway on a regular day? Who reading the Constitution? I'm just saying, like, when you was a kid, you got a dictionary and a thesaurus, okay? Now, granted, we might have had a couple of legal books. We had the Britannica Library. Like, we had all type of books, you know, whole sets. But, you know, who picked up the Constitution, the Bill of Rights? Some people, if you was smart.
You was actually, I mean, you was, as a young dude, you was just learning that in school.
You will learn that. I mean, yeah, they taught you that.
Your first-hand encounter with it, most people was in a classroom. You know, starting off with that. You know, 13 Amendments and all that type of shit, and whatever. You know.
Right, the 13 Amendments, which allegedly are the only real amendments. Because remember, there are 3 constitutions. You know, that the original one, which is the one that should be used, but you know, there's a lot of treaties too that people are just oblivious to. That's why I suggest that people go back and you know what was funny? The countries that are involved, they honor these treaties. That's why certain wars do not break out. You know how many wars could have already broken out if it wasn't because of these treaties, you know, that they have in place in the different places. Like, it's real. Like, once you start reading the paperwork, I mean, if I didn't read the paperwork, how else would I know that the USA, is a corporation and not a country? I mean, how else would I know? I mean, look how many years it took. Shit, I just learned that, maybe 20 years ago. 20. You talking about 2000? That ain't that long ago. You know what I mean? Like, you learning some shit 20 years ago, and I'm like, because your first 18 years don't really count for much. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You go to school, you know what I mean. You learn what you can learn, but
I mean, it's based on how you were raised and how that's pretty much how your parents raising you. If you got parents, if you don't, you know what I mean, or you being raised in a single home. So a lot of that is what starts to make you. At 18 is when you start to, decipher and make the changes in your life, things like that. So, that's
right.
when, and you start trying to figure out things. But really,
I see you, Houston, Texas, in the building.
You start deciphering, but the thing that happens, where you get lost at is that you getting this brunt of responsibility, but there was no formal, unless your parents took that and trained you or showed you and guided you what was coming on the next steps in life. A lot of kids get lost at that step and then trying to figure their way and find back. So, I mean, the Constitution is a document that most people won't look at because at the end of the day, it's probably, to a lot of people, it's hard reading. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't.
Yeah. That's true too. Let's
we got on the line, son. Let's bring them in.
Let's bring them in. Yeah, we gonna bring them in. We got G. Clark. What's good, brother? Great, G. Clark. I ain't gonna say his whole government unless he want to say it.
Oh, okay.
G, you on the line?
Right. Hey, I'm driving. I was just calling in to listen in, man. I know you had some good stuff tonight, so I'm calling in to listen in, brother.
Okay, brother.
Appreciate you.
Because I appreciate you. Figures you might have something to say
about it. You got it. I mean, so now I just called in, so I'm trying to soak it in.
All right, we're gonna soak it in. I won't gear no sarcasm towards you neither. This been going on before you got on the call. My man, G. Clark from Houston.
All right.
All right, we'll keep going. All right, G.
So
stay on the line. We'll put you on mute.
All right.
So I mean, I guess the next biggest topic we could get into is this. Is because of this Jacob incident. Now we coming into, we got to talk about this NBA thing. Where
NBA.
Where the players have just stated that I mean, the way it looks now, they don't look like they're trying to come back. Like, and that's good. I mean,
if you could understand the level of conversation that I had today, and this is all fresh and new, like the level of conversation, like, there's some ones that they have open minds about it. They thinking. You present information, because some people are very excited. Yeah, they're boycotting. Yeah, they're not taking it no more. Hold up, pump the brakes, okay, just a little bit, okay? Let me give you some background information. Before they even went to the bubble, they had discussed a lot of things, okay? Now, if they agreed to go to the bubble because they had to finish out this year's 2019-20 CBA, collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
If they did not finish out those games, they wouldn't have got paid for March and April. You understand? They wouldn't have got their checks for that. Then, even on top of that, which some people was like, okay, even if they didn't get their checks, some people was willing to be like, all right, I ain't going, I'm cool. But the bottom line is the CBA that was in place would have been null and void. They would have had to come to the table to make a new agreement and a new CBA. Okay, so when they decided to go on the bubble, and, it was COVID and pandemic and all that going on, the big-ass distraction. Oh, COVID is real, but it's a distraction. But they went in the bubble. They played those games. So when I saw Portland and Memphis finish their playing game, I already knew what time it was. I was like, oh, okay, playoffs going to start. They just fulfilled the collective bargaining agreement. That's all they really needed to do. So now the playoffs is here. That's all about extra money for the teams that's involved. So here come the shooting's been going on. Everything that's going on today that happened over the weekend been going on, okay? So they should have never went to the bubble in the first place. One, because it's bad optics. It's people out here that didn't even go to work yet. There's states that's not fully open, and they getting money for being there. I don't mind you going to work. That's your job. They want to play, okay, fine. However, look at the optics of you playing, even though it's in the bubble, it's supposed to be secure. You're playing, and there's people that are not going to work. There are people that are staying home because of the pandemic. They don't want it to spread. And there's practicing social distancing, which is smart. You know, they got the mask on. The only part that I don't agree with is when you wear it in the car, when you're driving. Gee, you better not have on a mask in your car. But, you know, just in general, here's a contradictory part, though. Y'all are playing. People are seeing this. And then in neighborhoods, they're going outside and they're playing basketball. They put the rims back up. Now, here's the irony about basketball. Y'all are sweating on each other on the court. But then when you go out the game, your chairs are 6 feet apart. How stupid does that look? Then you're sweating the whole game, and then when you have a timeout, you're still coming in. You're not 6 feet apart in the timeout huddle. Then when you interview a person after the game, you got the microphone 6 feet away, and they're standing over there.
With
like,
a mask
yo,
on.
Really? With a mask on. Yo, with the mask on. Really? Right, you really.
After game interviews, dudes is at the table with masks on.
And they really, right, but you just played with people sweating on them. Really? Come on. So when they fulfilled their obligation, and now, oh, well, we not coming out. We're going to protest. Yo, I get it. First of all, you shouldn't have went down there. If you was really going to protest, don't even go. But you couldn't violate the CBA agreement. It's the same thing with Major League Baseball. The owners and the players union.
So are you saying Chris Paul was just biding time? You think he was that
That's
smart?
All you had to do, baby. All you had to do was
smart?
finish the 8 games. I'm not talking about planning the boycott. I'm talking about just finish the game.
No, I'm talking about
so you can get your check.
Yeah, finish the game. That's what I'm talking about. That's it. He's the president of the Players Association of the players. So basically, let's get this done, and if we can get to the playoffs, there's nothing going, we keep it going. But once something happens, we out.
Because you know what's going to happen.
But
because it's been happening.
So to me, I mean, I think everybody owes Kyrie an apology then.
Well, you know what? They do.
How
about that?
You know what I'm saying?
They was killing Kyrie.
They was killing him. But was he wrong? No, he was making sense, and we spoke about it, and we felt like he was making sense. We felt like, he got a point. Like, let's not take away from what's going on, and let's stay united. Now, after this incident, you see George Hill get up there and question the whole shit and say, why are we here? Like, we should have never came here then, because this, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot going on. In the country, they was away from their families for a stretch of time. Some of their families had just got down there, was quarantined for like 14 days before they could come in the bubble.
Right.
So they was just about to start letting their families in. And I mean, now you get this, dudes is looking around like, man, this shit is just ridiculous. And they want to, they're saying, games are postponed, we're going to replay. But then your boy LeBron posts like, this is not a postponement, this is a boycott.
Right. And you know what?
Like,
I don't blame him.
That sounds like the season's over.
If the king said, shit, hey, if the face of the league comes out and says what he says, like, you got to take that shit seriously. Because, here's the kicker, though. What makes this whole thing very well played. See, LeBron and all the Rich Paul clients, there's about 9 of them, they got their money. They was getting their money regardless of whether they went to the bubble or not. So, because that's the way their contract was structured. It was structured that way. So now, what most people don't understand is that most players are not used to getting checks in July and August because they're off. So you don't get paid through the summer unless you structure your contract, like you structure your pay that way. So LeBron got his money already. Like, this is the playoffs. It wasn't really like you in a bubble. Look at the optics. Yeah, this is a boycott. Like, all right, we fulfilled our league mandated contractual obligation. Okay, this is playoffs. This is a bullshit playoff. We don't got to finish this. This don't got to finish. Now you can go into next season, still be under the CBA. They didn't violate it. And they don't have to come back at any time soon. Now you could. But here's the thing. You don't have to come back, but then the NBA is a private corporation. So you can't put the brunt of the responsibility on a private corporation to make policies outside in the public sector. Like, you could put pressure, but you can't expect people. That's a legislative issue. So you need to make political moves.
But the point is, for instance, like cats like the owner for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's not a big, Wisconsin is not a huge state, but I believe the owner, because before the owner used to be like the congressman or the Senate. He was in the Senate or some shit.
Oh,
so,
that's right. That's right.
They have, like, these owners who are involved. They want these stadiums and these arenas. They know political people. That's how they're getting it done. So the same way, if you want them stadiums, if you want to see these players back on court, you need to start making some traction. So I don't want to hear that shit. Like, it's private, but these cats give a lot of donations to these political people, as for their campaigns, for whatever they need, favors, whatever the hell they need to get done, they make it happen. So that's bullshit. They need to put that same energy into really helping bring about reform. If that's not the case, if that's not what you're going to do, then, cats got to make a decision, because at this point, it's not just athletes, but people on a whole got to have to take a stand. Black people of color, whatever you want to call yourself, African, American, black, whatever you feel comfortable with, you're going to have to take a stand. Whether it's your regular job, whether it's, you're an entertainer, you work in Hollywood, you playing any sport, whatever you do, you're going to have to make a decision. Because the system has shown this against all of us. I don't care where you at. I don't care if you know what I mean? Even if you're a black police officer, you're gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror and take a stand eventually, because you saying you blue, but they still looking at you as black. So you're not really a part unless you totally agree with everything they do. And that's just how it is. If you have an inclination, like you were saying before, like, oh, we did this and you and that person going to, scrap, you can't win that fight. They'll leave you. They'll set you up and leave you out there on a call and get you killed. So that's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing. So that's why I always find it funny when people will be like, yo, why ain't they telling who killed it? But I'm like, shit, police don't tell when they own people do shit. So why you expect another motherfucker to tell on their own people? If police they don't tell, if police tell on their own, they gotta leave, they gotta transfer out of that department, they gotta damn near become internal affairs if they want to keep working. Because no cop gonna want to work with you, especially if you told on another officer and they got jammed up. So they don't tell on their own. So they don't police their own. So people don't get mad when other people don't want to tell on their own either. They don't really, they don't want to help police, because at the same time, police ain't helping you when they got their own. They know they have other cops in there that's doing criminal shit, doing the wrong shit.
Because they got their own thing that they do behind closed doors.
So I mean, it's just a matter. It's so much. That's why I'm saying, like, all this shit is a lot. All this shit is a lot. So as, like, right now, like we were saying, coming up in the era we came in with kids, and our peers have kids and things like that, and we're giving them this information from our experiences that we've gone through in life and things like that. And sometimes when I tell my kids, they be like, "Damn, word," they be like, "That's that shit that you was living. Y'all had to live like this." Like I'm like, yeah, like shit. I've been had metal detectors in school. Fuck you talking about? That shit was normal. You know what I'm saying? That shit was like normal. Exactly. Like they we already had that shit. It wasn't an insult to walk in a building like that we have and go to a game and had to go through metal detectors and shit. Like yeah. Like we been was going through that. We been had
Come
this
on,
type
it
of
was
shit.
Gang life was if gang life was pretty heavy. We had gang life before Bloods and Crips, came to New York. Like we had our own things going on here.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like like we all gonna have to take a stand on this shit. Like we all gotta take a stand because what I'm saying. I know we said a lot in our posts and joking around. I mean, not jokes, but it's really serious shit. I'm not gonna say it's a joke. We always say black code status and shit like that.
Word.
But the issue is that a lot of people they look at that shit when you cats are saying that on there, like they think it is like they don't really understand what you mean by that.
They don't understand the level of where we coming from.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
they just don't.
So that's what I'm saying. So a lot of people don't know about status. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was talking to dude, like you were saying, the Constitution. We was talking about the Constitution earlier, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nothing can be right until nothing can be clear. And I just mentioned saying like until they cut that 3/5 of a human shit out. He know what the fuck that was.
That's a shame though. That's actually sad.
Like he didn't know that shit.
That's crazy.
Like I'm like, dude, when they made this shit, when they was doing the Constitution and shit, what was our people? What were we at? What were we doing?
Right. Where were the majority of the people who had to be governed under that? Like, because during that time, like, come on. Like, when you ask somebody, you know what you got to do now? You can't even it can't be critical thinking no more. You got to, the people have been dumbed down to the point where you just have to present what it is. During that time, many people were under the system of slavery, white, black, and otherwise. So, but specifically when they said that we were 3/5 of a man, the original Constitution has yet to be amended in that fact. You know what I mean? But we are part. And then I look at the private conversations that we have offline, with our group, the pledge or whatever. Like, that's a real think tank because of the amount of personalities that's in there. Is we all smart, like, and in different shit. So it's like it comes together. It's like, I don't know. It's like a Lego puzzle. Like you put it together and it becomes this massive creation. Like that's what's going on back there. We could never come out in public and say, like we might say it individually, but imagine if it was like a coalition, like the group of us. Like who the fuck is these motherfuckers? Who is y'all? How y'all get to say that and we don't? Because that's how some people look at our views when we present evidence that's contradictory to your beliefs, because that's what we do all day. Like we challenge each other to think mentally. Look at this side, look at that side. That's what it's for. But the only way that it's almost like it's like we don't exist.
People though. It takes special.
Look at what it took. Like look, we're special people.
Special people to be able. It takes special people to be able to deal with that, because the average person is dumbed down, so they don't want to think. You know what I'm saying? You said a think tank. Average motherfucker don't want to think though.
No, I mean that's what basically it is, because
think for them.
We present shit all day.
When we presenting shit, but we also thinking with answers. When we respond to each other, because you understand that you're talking to another person that has intelligence. So when you're talking to another person with intelligence, you have to present yourself as such, and speak in a manner and talk in a manner, and to be able to dispute that person if you don't agree with them. And it just can't be a random thought. It has to be facts behind it because people are dealing with facts. And the average person today don't want to deal with facts. They don't want to deal with that shit. That's too much. Everybody just want to have a good time. You can't have a good time all the fucking
time.
Well,
they shut that down. That shit is shut down.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna you can't have a good time all day. All day you can't have a good time all day. You gotta think. You gotta start thinking for yourself. Start thinking about what's really going on and putting the pieces together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll say shit and we talk shit, but you understand where it's coming from because when you're dealing with a certain group of people that think and they talking and they debating and everybody's diverse in their skills, it's a wonderful thing. And it can be like that for black people if black people just learn to come together. And don't take everything so fucking personal.
On the facts.
Just like this election shit, people take everything personal. Like, yo, if you don't vote for Biden, it's a vote for Trump, and you hate, you know what I'm saying? You don't like, you don't go, you mad, you disrespecting
our Kamala ain't black and
all
this
for
shit.
Our right to vote. I'm like, our peoples didn't just fight for our right to vote. They were fighting for our right to be a human, motherfucker.
Right,
like,
human, like just to be human and survive.
Just to be treated like a motherfucking human being.
Yeah, to be getting vote
to fucking really vote. Like voting
not
was
3/5.
Vote, like, you know what I'm saying? Voting was just something. I mean, because we've already shown that you don't have to vote to control your community, because as long as you understand the politics in your area. Like, you voting on national levels is not as big as you voting on state levels. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
local
at that point,
no doubt.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to control that area. You got to control those areas. You got to control that shit. That's where you're being affected at. So as long as, you know what I'm saying, people are running around, like, these are candidates that the people did not choose. People was shaky on Biden. They ran off Harris. Nobody wants to fuck with Trump. His own people turn on. So the country has a bunch of people in front of them that they don't want.
And they were rocking with Bernie for a minute, and then, he drops out. That's what he do.
But Bernie's never been a finisher. He's not a finisher. That's not what he does. He's there to galvanize the party and then pass his shit, collect all the people he can, and then tell them to vote for the next man. That's been his MO the last couple of times. That's all he's done. Bow out gracefully. You know, because he's old. Like, I mean, somebody made a great point I seen today.
They're all old.
They all old. All these old 70 years.
Biden
70s,
like 77, Trump 75, Bernie 78. Shit. Harris is actually the youngest of that crew. She's probably like 55, 56.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Somewhere, I would say she's somewhere in there, bracket. And then you have, I mean, that shit right there, like, that lets you know you still dealing with old ways. This is old ways. They're trying to relate to this new shit, but they already built who they are as they are. You know what I'm saying? So anything they doing is a facade. It's not real because they don't understand this new shit. This new shit is different. These new kids and all that shit, this generation, they different. They totally different.
Real different.
You know
Social distancing different for real. They was already distant. They online.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean. Like, come on. Biden on Twitter? Like, that shit isn't, like, like, the only thing...
he got somebody handling his shit.
Exactly.
He ain't tweeting nothing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I mean, come on, man. I mean, people are questioning Biden's mental capacity constantly. I just seen an article where Trump said he wants him to have a drug test before they debate.
That's crazy. Yo, I got breaking news. Lakers, Clips vote to not play. Lakers and Clippers have voted not to continue the NBA season. That's the vote. That's Kawhi and LeBron. So, if the two faces of the league are telling, because they're vocal, in their own way. But what I'm saying is, remember, it's two things going on. Three things. I'm sorry. One, they shouldn't have went, but they did. I get it. Two, they had to fulfill the contractual obligation. 3, the same shit that was going on before they went down there is still going on. Then, i.e., George Hill is saying, what the fuck did we come down here for, wearing all this shit on our back? And the same outside of our bubble, which people, it's a metaphor because people live in a fucking bubble. They living in a bubble. And out in the real world, real shit is going on. And George Hill is like, yo, we down here in a bubble. We wore this shit, and we get national attention, education reform, all these different slogans and all this shit, and people still getting killed. Black people still getting killed. Why we here? So they now they can get their money. Everybody can get their checks. Shit, even the teams that didn't go, because these guys finished their 8 games.
But every other team voted to keep playing. Everybody else voted to keep playing.
The Lakers and the Clips said no. So what does that tell you about the other teams that's down there? They didn't want to play no more. Lakers and Clips voted to end the season.
This shit now.
So that means they wanted it a wrap right now. So that's the way it's written. So what does that mean for the other teams?
They want to bounce right now. They want to go home.
they want to leave.
They want to go home right now.
Right away. The other teams are like, well, we need to have these things answered, or we need to just go home. They're on board with leaving, but the Lakers and the Clippers said, yo, end the season now. And you know what? I want to give a shout out to Doc Rivers, because you know what? People do change. I do believe that people change. That Rocky Balboa statement will always reach out to me. Everybody can change, because before he was not trying to protest no playoff game. When that Donald Sterling shit hit the league, like, he worked for him for years. He already knew about him. But today, he's like, his father was a police officer, and he just spoke out. He's like, well, we're being killed still. This is still going on. We gotta do better. I'm like, okay, Doc, all right. I respect that. That's growth.
He's from Chicago, though. He's Chicago.
Exactly. That's why he should have known better when the first time let the dudes throw their jerseys in the middle of the court. He know better than that, but he redeemed himself. They're saying, yo, we don't want to play at all. Fuck a title. Fuck the NBA. People we in this bubble. I'm away from my family. People getting shot and killed still, even with all of this going on. We don't got no fans. We got Zoom fans. Fans on Zoom.
That shit look creepy as hell.
It look creepy as a motherfucker, but it's okay to have a passion and love for the game. Dude, I applaud the Milwaukee Bucks as well, and the Toronto Raptors, because the Toronto Raptors were already having that discussion that they wasn't going to play their game 1 versus Boston. So that conversation got sparked. And then, remember, during the finals last year, Majuri had got put, like, when he tried to get on the court, he was pulling out his badge so he can get on the court for the celebration. The security officer pushed him away. From Oakland. Oakland guard.
Yeah, I see.
Pushed him over the court.
Finally showed the real video.
They finally showed what the hell happened. Yeah. So he's like, yo, he's pulling out his badge.
But here it goes again, what I was just saying about police. They see the wrong. They know he did wrong. And they talking about don't believe the video.
The video is real. He's reaching in his pocket to pull out his
You see him reaching for his shit, and he pushes him.
To pull out.
He pushes him, and he asks him, why are you pushing me? And he pushes him again.
And he still pulls out his badge. They went to commercial break.
But what I'm saying is that they're telling you don't believe the video when you see what he did. So if you know this is wrong behavior from your officer, instead of saying, yo, we can't, you're going to just reprimand them for that shit and say, no, we're not going to have that. You was out of line. You getting reprimanded for that. And let it go. Instead, your officer now is suing, talking about that he hurt him. How he hurt you?
Yeah.
What, you hurt yourself pushing him? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? That shit,
I saw that dumb shit. That was like 2 weeks ago. I read that bullshit.
Son, that shit is like, it's what I'm saying, though. You can't expect the people to have faith in your system and your law enforcement when you're not able to reprimand them and say that, hey, this is wrong. You can't do that shit. You can't, if you know what I mean. If that's the case, then you understand. If that's not what you're gonna do, then we have to face the facts that what we're in a police state, and they can do anything they want. There's no one there. They're above the law. That's basically what you're saying. They're above the law. They're above the law. You know, you're above the law. They can do whatever they want to do. And, you know, especially the black people. You can do whatever you want to do to black people because they don't count. They're only 3/5 anyway. We hate, you know what I'm saying? Look at it, they're animals. They kill, they stay on and shit like that. That's the rhetoric, like I said. That's the rhetoric they run with. So that's the rhetoric that these cops are trained under. So when they're out there, and like we said before, you bring some white kid, some Asian kid, or wherever from, you know, the country, and you drop him in urban America, and he's had no contact with this type of environment before. And the first thing you putting in his head is that they're animals. Make sure you make it back here alive. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Kill them all. They're fucking animals. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? That's what you put in. So what do you think he's going to do when he get out there and his shit is on the line? Because he's going to say he's scared. Yeah, I do believe you may be scared because you've never been in this environment and you haven't been trained to been put in this environment. Because this ain't nothing like you've ever seen before. You've never been in the hood. If you've never been in the worst parts of these hoods in urban America and they drop you there, it's not a nice sight, bro. Like, I mean, no matter where. I mean, I've been in a lot of hoods all over this country, and if you ain't from that cloth, you definitely don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be there.
No
I don't
doubt.
care if you black, white. I don't care if you police. I don't care who the fuck you is. You don't want to be in some of these places, especially at nighttime. So
sundown town is real.
Exactly. But what I'm saying, dude, shit, you could go Brooklyn, Brownsville. You could go the Bronx. You could go anywhere. You could go Baltimore. You could go to Houston. You can go to California, Chicago, Florida, Miami. You could go to Detroit. You could go all over the place. It's real in them spots. And if you put somebody in there who's not trained, you giving them 6 months of training and dropping them in these neighborhoods? Come on, man.
And they never been around that population?
Population?
That's tough.
You asking for this shit. This is what you want. Because you know they shooting out a fright. They shooting out a fright.
So they fear for their life.
The first thing they doing is immediately pulling guns on you. Wow. Pulling their gun on you immediately. Immediately pulling their gun on you. That's the first thing. They're gonna shoot you. That's the first thing they're gonna do. So there's, you know what I'm saying? They don't know how they're not trained to deal with that environment. They're not trained, like they talk about their sensitivity training. That shit's bullshit. We went to John. We seen what they sensitivity training is. That's some bullshit.
Right.
You understand? That it's more than that. You can't put these people on the street in 6 months. That's just not that shit. That's one of the things when you're talking about reform. That's something that has to be talked about. You need more training. You're gonna need more training. You know what I'm saying? You need more training, and you need to have a different evaluation for the people you taking. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'll scrutinize the black and Hispanic candidates, but you let all the white candidates come through because you believe theirs was, you know, whatever mistakes they may have made in the past was an error, but they could be police because we need police. But now when it comes time for black candidates, oh, you smoked weed? You're not on this. Get out of here. We can't accept you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's everything is this whole game is all fixed. The shit is all fixed and fucked up, and it's against our people. So at this time, as our people, we got to make a stand. We got to, you know, this is the opportunity to make this stand. I don't know if you screaming for reparation is right. I'm not sure if that's what I mean. If you want that, then that's going to, you know, that's definitely
a whole other process. Yeah, I don't think we're ready for that anyway. Collectively, nah, because as others have said, you know, some people will get the money and get that shit right back because they don't know how to, you know, they don't know how to spend money. They don't value money. Like, you think people always talk about, yeah, when I get money, I'm gonna do this.
But is it you know what I'm saying? That statement though, is that a fair statement to say? Because
no, I mean,
if they've never had shit,
but it's out there.
Of course they're gonna spend shit. If they never had shit and then they get a whole bunch of shit, then of course they're gonna spend shit. They want there's a lot of shit they want to take care of now that they can do that because they did, but they didn't have the opportunity.
Okay, you speak it from a place of common sense. Well, what about the people who ain't never had shit, but the things that they love? You know, it's like the rims and the strip clubs. Like, they could blow all their money on that shit and cars, 15 cars.
There's the blow.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just saying, when we're just talking about,
I mean, I'm not.
There's people that's going to get that shit back.
I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying to you is there's the blow. If that's what they're owed, and that's how they choose to spend their shit, then it's on them.
So it's always going to be that class then. That you have in capitalism, you got to have a bottom class and an upper class. That's how it works. At the basic level.
I mean, they barely hanging on to capitalism. They trying.
Yeah, they're trying.
But they trying. They trying to hang on to it. It's, you know, they trying to hang on to it. It's you know, it's still built like that. If you know, that's why I always say what I tell you all the time. This shit is a business, and black people gotta stop being emotional. This is a business. You gotta look at shit in a business aspect. Like when you dealing with them, you dealing as a business. You dealing as yourself is won't help you. But if you dealing as a business, it will. You know what I'm saying?
Or a group of businesses, like a coalition.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to do it like that.
But you have to be a business. You have to understand that you're doing business. You're in a corporation, so you're doing business with a corporation. They respect business because they want money. So
they respect money.
If you're if you bringing money to the company, you're an asset. If you're not bringing money, then they're looking at you as a leech. You know what I'm saying?
Liability.
That's why they want to get exactly. That's why they want to get rid of these. That's why they like, they want to get rid of shit. We don't want to pay this shit. We want all the money. We need. You know what I'm saying? We want all the money. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how you got to deal with this shit. We gotta understand, coming from a business aspect, we gotta start looking at in that manner. We gotta start thinking in that manner and making those decisions. When you're looking at people who's running it, because this is a corporation, so you're looking at your corporation and you saying, well, we got this idiot in there already, but now we're gonna get this now. We get rid of him, we're gonna get this cat. We're not even sure if he got all his faculties or he just a drunk. That we don't know. We don't know. We still, you know what I'm saying, we don't really understand what his goal is. He hasn't laid out everything for us. He's been given this position because one was due to the candidates falling out because of the pandemic started. So shit like that. So they started backing out anyway. They was backing out anyway, so they can get time to build him up to steam, because that's what they wanted from the door, was Biden.
Right.
But once he hasn't laid out a plan for us. He hasn't said anything. Anybody that's not willing to talk about our plight shouldn't have our vote. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Okay. So Biden is a stopgap. He's not an answer to shit. Like he's
not
the
an
person.
Answer to nothing.
You know what's scary though? We don't have anybody. I'm saying we, the people, like 4 years from now. Let's say whoever wins, if Biden wins, let's say he got another 4 years. We don't have nobody 8 years from now. Who the fuck is supposed to be the leader?
Your boy gonna fucking run Como. That's why he was doing all that shit he was doing during the pandemic.
Oh man, damn.
That's why he was doing all that shit, press conferences every fucking day, doing all that shit, trying to show he was worthy of being. He was setting he's setting his shit, his run.
There we go.
For
Another New York motherfucker trying to run the world. Oh boy.
That's what I'm
Another
saying.
New Yorker.
He's setting his run. That's what he was doing that whole time. Cause check this out. They asked him if he wanted to get into this shit right here, this presidential shit, and be Biden's running mate, be his VP. And as a New Yorker, I know his thinking. He like, I ain't being second to this motherfucker. I'm my own man. I'm going to be the man. You understand? That's
and I
how
got
his
my plug
attitude
on CNN.
Exactly.
Got my
exactly. I mean, but at the end of it, that's what I'm saying. He was laying his shit down the whole time. Every time I just kept telling everybody at the crib, he trying to run for president soon. Watch, he just laying it down. He was having press conferences every damn day. He was testing the waters, and he liked how the waters feel. So now he gonna make his own run in 2024. Watch. Because Biden to be there at 80 years old.
Biden be alive at like 80, 81. If he lasts that long.
If he win, exactly. If he lasts that long, we don't even know. Because we don't know if we dealing with another Ronald Reagan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could have Alzheimer's for all we know. Reagan was in there. He was in there acting the whole time. Thought this shit was a movie script. Like, what the fuck?
He's a pretty good one, though. At least he has smarter people around him, that's for sure. His cabinet was way better than this moron.
He had Bush. He had fucking Bush around.
I know.
Bush was the mastermind.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't need nobody else. True. He ain't need nobody else. He had Bush. Bush was the one doing all the shit. Bush was like, just tell him, go ahead, keep acting. I got this. Don't worry about it, Ron. It's the biggest movie of your life. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? It's the biggest movie of your life. Don't worry about it. Just kept telling him, play the role. You know what I mean? Bush was the one running the show. That became quite obvious. He was the one running the show. You know what I'm saying? So if Biden is this person, so then you're going to say Kamala Harris is the one running the show. She's going to be running the show. So basically that means whoever's funding her will be running the show.
But before we go, because you made an excellent point, let's put this on record right now. So 4 years from now, or maybe even a year from now, people will understand that we put this out there. Joe Biden, let's say if he wins, okay, and becomes president, Joe Biden will be relieved of his duties via the 25th Amendment, which states, the 25th Amendment to the United States Constitution says that if the president becomes unable to do their job, the vice president becomes the president. That, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, is how Kamala Harris can become the president, and you will have your first female president who will be black. Now, that's one side of the coin.
We gotta be
now.
You talking about her colors?
I'm sorry. I was just throwing the generalizations out there.
I don't know if she's calling herself. I don't know if she's calling herself.
Well, she might be Indian American by the time that happens. Because remember, she was Indian American senator. But let's just say, was she ran for senator? No, she was Indian American when she ran the first Indian American senator. But so the vice president becomes president via 25th Amendment. Okay. Now, the other side of the coin is the people that see that Biden struggles with his faculties, and you have this woman, forget her nationality for right now. Let's just deal with it's a woman. Okay, that's one thing. Now, she is perceived as a woman of color, right? Okay, so that's another dagger. So you look, so look at the other side. Like, we gonna have a woman and a nigga? No, we're not doing it. The war is on. This election is real, because if Biden does have a debate, and if Trump wins, we already know what that's going to be. Just status quo. It's going to be a lot of tweets and dumb shit, and people that, they don't understand what he's doing. Shit, he don't even know. His cabinet going to jail, shit like that, resigning. But if Biden wins, we'll be watching his faculties to see if he's going to be able to serve his term. And if he can't, 25th Amendment, baby. Just remember that the grumpy man said it. We said it right here, August 26, 2020. I mean, because we keep talking about his faculties, so that means that he may deteriorate at some point, So if he can't do the job, he's got to step down.
It's a conversation that is always being had. I mean,
that's a real conversation.
It's not just black people saying it. White people are saying it. A lot of people are saying it. You go on the internet, they're saying it. And they was they were surprised at how
a woman.
They were surprised at how well he did in his acceptance speech of the nomination or whatever. So, they had him trained and probably on his meds and all that shit.
Teleprompter, nice big letters. You know how you get the 25, the 72-inch font. where it take up damn near half the screen. They had all that shit ready. He was reading nice and slow, and I gladly accept your nomination. I, Mrs. Biden, just he's it's a mess, man. So I don't know. This was the check-in. I mean, the Grumpy Man, we on the check-in. We on twice a week. If anybody don't know, Wednesday is the check-in. Available for everybody to come through. Saturday is more of a forum layout where we need those are subscribers. The subscribers get access to that. Because that's stuff that you can't. I don't know. If you want to know what really is going on, come through on Saturdays. If you want to hear what we talking about and keep updated on real facts without conjecture, then come through on Wednesdays. If you want to do both, then come through on both days. Like, it's cool. We everywhere, every major platform, and twogrumpymen.com. You get the merch. You get some ebooks. The ebooks are what's up for the future generation. We got info. Cop a $3 book. What is that? $3. Shit, you can't even buy a cup of coffee in Starbucks for $3. You could buy 2 books and sit there and just read. Where you get that from? That book they don't have that book in print no more. But I got it. I got it before they phased that shit out, But it is what it is. Anything you want to tell the people? We appreciate the callers, the ones that actually pressed the button to get in, and then you got the ones that didn't press the button and they outside listening in. Yeah, we appreciate y'all too. Keep coming through.
Yeah, definitely.
We appreciate it.
Wednesday, check in.
Come through on Wednesdays on the check-in, because we will keep opening up these lines, because you know what? People want to hear. So you're going to hear the real.
Let's go.
But, here's the thing. When you have a call to action, when you call out, because people will challenge you or present information online all day. And I'm like, you know what? This for the regular people that rock with us anyway, they're going to check in anyway. But if you want to have something to say, you really want to get your point across, then, call in. Let me hear you. Let us hear you. Say what's on your mind. We may even come to a mutual agreement, or not. Maybe we'll agree to disagree. One thing is for sure, we'll iron out a lot of shit. Because one thing about social media, when you read a post, that ain't the same thing as somebody saying some shit where they can articulate and things of that nature. I've learned that over the past 10 years, being on there. At least we have come that far. But the Two Grumpy Men, man, like, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I'm good, brother. We out here. Catch us on Saturday.
Right. Come through. Be a subscriber. $3, $5, or $50. You got we got a choice for you.
Yeah, come through, man. If not, like you said, catch us on Wednesdays to check in. Everybody can come in, holler at us, talk to us. We out here, man. We doing this for everybody. Truth must be told.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, we appreciate everybody that checked in. If you missed anything, you'll catch the replay. It'll be posted again on every major platform. Just listen to it and get back at us. We online. We here. We visible. So the Two Grumpy Men, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.